Hiya, it's Gedre again. I've not filmed anything in a while because really I had a busy month of March. I haven't read that many books at all, and I haven't bought any books because I thought I have enough to read anyway. But then I happened to stumble upon a couple of books I wanted to read in the charity shops, and I started this kind of, I don't know, quest trying to find all the books I wanted to buy, but instead of buying them on Amazon, trying to find them in the charity shops. So it just so happened that this last weekend I've been to Whitby, to York, to Newark, and a couple of charity bookshops in Leeds, and I ended up buying 11 books that I have to show you. So I'm gonna start straight away. One of the books is one that I heard a lot about, and the one I'm currently reading now, and it's Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell by Susanna Clarke. And although some of the reviews say it's a bit dull, and it's quite a big book, this edition has 1006 pages. I'm on page 110 at the moment. I think it reads so easy. It reminds me the style of the book. It reminds me of Harry Potter. It's so easy to read and it's so captivating. And basically it's the story is set in the beginning of the 19th century England, and it's about two magicians who are trying to join forces in the war against France. So like I said, I'm only on page 100 and something, so I've not, you know, the story hasn't developed that much yet, but I think it's really good and I'm enjoying it. Another book that I bought is by Sarah Waters, and it's called The Night Watch. Now, I bought Fingersmith a while back and I haven't read it yet, although a lot of people were raving about it, but I thought I might as well buy this one. And it's basically, it's set in 1940s London, and it's a story of four Londoners: Kay, who wanders the streets in mannish clothes, restless and searching; Helen, who harbours a troubling secret; Viv, glamour girl, recklessly loyal to her soldier lover; and Duncan, an apparent innocent struggling with demons of his own. Moving back through the 1940s, through air raids, blackened out streets, illicit liaisons and sexual adventure, to end with its beginning in 1941. This is an astonishing novel, so it sounds good and it should be good. Another book that I bought is My Cousin Rachel by Daphne du Maurier. A couple of months back I read Rebecca and I really enjoyed it, so I hope this one will be just as good. Next book I found is The Shadow of the Wind by Carlos Ruiz Zafón, and I heard a lot of good things about this book. Hidden in the heart of the old city of Barcelona is the cemetery of forgotten books, and to this library a man brings his 10-year-old son Daniel, one called Morning in 1945. Daniel is allowed to choose one book, and then when he grows up, several people seem to be very interested in that book that he picked as a child, and what begins as a case of literally curiosity turns into a race to find out the truth behind the life and death of the writer of that said book. So it should be good. I'm hoping it's good. The next book is by C.J. Sansom, and it's Winter in Madrid, and I think it's quite a twisted love story set in Madrid during the after the Spanish Civil War, and I had this recommended by my colleague. He said that I should really enjoy C.J. Sansom's books and I should really read this one, so I'll let you know once I've read it. Now, a couple of months ago, end of last year, I went to see the show called A Curious Incident of a Dog in the Nighttime, and I thought it was amazing. And today I stumbled upon another book by the author who wrote that said novel, Mark Haddon, The Red House. Now, I've looked at this book just as it was published and I thought it sounded quite interesting. A lot of the reviewers were a bit funny about it and they said the story is not as good. But anyway, I found it in the charity shop today and I bought it because I think it sounds really good. And it's a story about a woman, Angela, and her brother Richard have spent 20 years avoiding each other. Now, after the death of their mother, They bring their families together for a holiday in a rented house on the Welsh border. 4 adults and 4 children, 7 days of shared meals, log fires and games on wet walks. But in the quiet and stillness of the valley, ghosts begin to rise up. The parents Richard thought he had, the parents Angela thought she had, past and present lovers, friends, enemies, victims and saviours. So I think it's good, and I absolutely love the cover of this book. I think it's so cool. Another book that I've been looking at for ages and ages, but I could never justify spending something like £8 on it on Amazon or in the bookshops, is by Ian Banks, and it's Espadare Street. And I wanted this book for literally about 5 years or so. And it's a story, a guy who used to be a famous rock star, and the friends he had lost, and now basically he's past his career, and he contemplates his life and his past and the future. So I love Ian Banks's writing, and I hope this should be good. Next book I found is by Hilary Mantel, and it's Bring Up the Bodies. I read Wolf Hall in January this year, and I absolutely loved it, so I'm really looking forward to reading this now. Now the next book was one that I was quite interested in reading, but I wasn't going to go out of my way and buy it. I thought I might take it if I find it at the library, but then again I found it in my local charity shop, and it's by J.K. Rowling, The Casual Vacancy. And basically it's about the small town in England where I think a member of the parish council dies, and there's the chair, obviously, and they're looking for the new member, and that turns a lot of people in the small town against each other. And basically it's just about a life in the small town, but apparently it's written really well, so it should be a good read. Now next book is one that I wasn't sure about. I didn't know whether I'd enjoy it, but recently I saw another really good positive review on YouTube actually, and it's by Emma Donoghue, Room, and it's the story of a 5-year-old boy who grows up with his mother, and he spends all his time in one room, and he doesn't really know that there's life outside the room, and this the story is told from his perspective, and what happens when he discovers that there is actually life and the world outside the room where he's always lived. So I think it's a weird one, but you never know, I might enjoy it. And now the last book was the one that I was hoping I would find in a charity shop, and it's one book that I really want to read, and I found it in York, and it was the edition that I wanted, so I was so happy. It literally made my day, and it's by Hannah Kent, Burial Rites. And if you don't know, it's a story about a woman condemned to death for murdering her lover. It's set in Northern Iceland in 1829, and I think it's basically the woman tells a priest of what happened, and we discover the truth of the crime. And I think it's one of those stories where obviously nothing is as it seems. Some people say it's boring, some people say it's brilliant, so I've always really wanted to read it, and now I finally found it, so I'm really pleased. And it's this edition with blackened pages, and oh, I love it. So let me know if you read any of these books, and thanks again for watching. See you later. Bye.